So, as you remember, last night in the middle of the show, the transcripts dropped on Hunter Biden's testimony to these closed-door congressional sessions showing a whole bunch of super questionable stuff. Now, I find it hilarious, though, how Hunter just stated. He said this, quote, "All I know is this, my father was never involved in any of my business, ever, never received a cent from anybody or never benefited in any way, never took any actions on behalf in any way." Well, that settles it then. Call off the impeachment. Let's just take the word of the guy who lied to the government at least once before on a federal gun form over all the other evidence, including emails, business partners, text messages, what have you. Nope, we're good. Hunter said it didn't happen. We can all go home. Now, despite his testimony, he all but confirmed that Joe Biden is the big guy. Hunter was directly asked, but to the reference to the big guy, would you agree it is a reference to your father, point blank? To which Hunter responded saying, quote, "I truly don't know what the hell James," the guy who previously testified, his business partner obviously, was talking about. All I know is what actually happened. All I know is that what was executed in the agreement, and the agreement didn't have anything to do with my father. My father's never been involved in my business. He's never benefited from my business. He's never taken any action in to benefit me or any of my businesses. Well, of course that they didn't put that in writing. I mean, he did put the 10% for the big guy in an email. But are you kidding me? None of this stuff seems to be true. I mean, I guess the guy has nothing left to play. And what I'm super curious about is this money still coming in? Because all the records we have, or at least that have been released to the public, are from years ago. I think the most current money exchanges we have are the ones from the paintings in early Joe Biden's presidency. But now that his art dealer's out, we still don't have a ton of information on Hunter's art buyers, which we know was a total grift, by the way. His paintings are worth $500,000. Are you kidding me? But, I mean, could this have something to do with it? It seems a little weird that the first American hostage released by Hamas was a buyer of Hunter's art. You think that's a coincidence? I mean, maybe, I guess, but probably not. What is Hunter doing now? Like, how does he afford this lifestyle? How does he do all the things he does? He doesn't work anywhere specifically. Has the Biden syndicate stopped doing all these types of business deals in light of all these investigations? I mean, you'd hope so. Or did they go deeper underground? This is all stuff Congress should be looking into. But the big question here is, what did China and some of the other countries or companies like Burisma get in return for these huge sums of money? I mean, they're big time money. We know that Biden bragged about getting the prosecutor fired that was looking into the natural gas company that was paying his son $1 million a year by threatening to withhold U.S. foreign aid.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a got fired.
I'm sure it's just all a coincidence, right? We know, though, that the Chinese multi-billion-dollar private equity firm's business license that was issued in Shanghai by the authorities just 10 days after Joe Biden made the trip over there with Hunter on Air Force Two. And Hunter became a board member, by the way. But conveniently, didn't vest any interest in the company until after Joe Biden left office as VP. Again, places like China don't just give you money for nothing. Let's take a look at some of the things that China is doing that they probably shouldn't be doing in America. The things that you think a president might stop. And I'll let you decide if you think that Joe Biden is compromised, because they're cashing in on all those sweetheart deals that Hunter got, I think. We let that balloon fly all the way across the United States, over a dozen military bases or so, 2 bases that the Chinese are, also allowed to purchase huge swaths of land right outside of. Our precious farmland, by the way, that the Chinese is buying up is either being leased back to American farmers or yielding crops that is being sent back to China, or sometimes it's doing nothing. This administration has not exactly been particularly hard on China for intellectual property theft either. Biden actually reversed many of Trump's policies that protected American intellectual property right when he came into office. But no. These couldn't possibly be related to the millions of dollars that the Biden family got from China. No. Why would you reach that conclusion? Oh, but this is just the beginning. Why would America develop cutting-edge technology and then just give it to China? Unless we owed them. Why is the U.S. just willingly letting China be the premier rare earth mineral miner? The second we left Afghanistan, by the way, they tapped into a $1 trillion lithium mine that we never did anything with while we were there for like 20 years. You're welcome. Sincerely, Joe Biden. Begs the question. Joe Biden's massive legislative push for EVs. China's making most of the components for those precious batteries and those cars and the technology that we just handed them. Was that part of the deal? I mean, I'm just speculating here. I wish somebody would have asked this. Seeing the warm welcome that Xi Jinping got in San Fran, I mean, that was crazy. Is it really that far-fetched to think that at least ask the question? Why won't they won't clean up the streets for you and I, for the tax-paying residents that actually live there? But hot damn, they removed every piece of trash and every homeless person they could find for the leader of China. Nope, can't have any bums on the street for him. They don't want our kids to have American flags in the classroom. But Biden and Gavin Newsom, they literally lined the streets with the Chinese flag on U.S. soil. We're defunding police here in America, while the Chinese built their own police stations in places like New York City. Can you imagine that? It was like pulling teeth to get the FBI to intervene in that. I mean, am I wrong to be concerned? You liberals see why I'm so, obsessed with the money that Hunter and his family got and where it came from? Because I deserve to know if the President of the United States is compromised. Because we now know from testimony that we just got access to that James Biden did not have the money in his account for that loan repayment that he gave to the now President of the United States. He didn't have it in there until China transferred it into Hunter's business. That's the smoking gun, if I've ever seen one before. Unbelievable.